Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Business Purpose Trends podcast. I'm Phil Preston, and this is the second episode that I'll be doing and putting on YouTube. So from here on, intending to put the videos on, and there will be a link in the notes in case you want to explore that and you're listening to it on audio. So this is your short and sharp weekly update, and today we're looking into an update from Unilever about its sustainability agenda. Unilever has been traditionally a purpose transformation leader. They've embedded purpose into the core of their business, and that is driving their sustainability agenda. We're going to look more into that. But before that, just a quick follow on from the AI series, the 2 episodes on AI. I had the pleasure of seeing Professor Corinne Hoisington present late last week, and it just gave me more mind-blowing ideas and material about what's going on in this space. And sometimes I find it hard to delineate what is just general technological advancement in terms of new tools and productivity versus true AI methods. But she opened my eyes to a lot of things going on in platforms like the Microsoft Suite, Google Bard, that's another tool that's out there, Bing and Bing Create, which is, I guess, a tool for turning words into images. You can have a lot of fun with that. But I also found that biases do creep in because I was trying to get an image perfected and created for a PDF, an article I was doing. And I tried a lot of things. I found biases such as the level of diversity or not in the pictures it was creating were interesting. And I did spend 45 minutes trying to get this right. And in the end, I abandoned that, just went for a stock photo instead. One of the other things she pointed to was Google Glasses and their ability to translate. So someone could be talking to you in, say, Estonian, and if you're an English speaker, you could be wearing these Google Glasses and seeing being translated in real time into English. But not only that, I mean, that's cool, but the coolest thing about this thing is someone could be speaking to you in sign language or signing to you, and these glasses would be translating and putting the interpretation or translation there for you to see. So absolutely amazing. Anyway, on with this episode. Unilever is always front of mind for me because under Paul Polman, and I'm holding up his book here, Net Positive, that's by Paul Polman and Andrew Winston. Paul Polman led what we'd call a true purpose transformation for a very large company, and the book tells that story. It's a major undertaking for a huge multinational like Unilever with a public share register. And the type of transformation we're talking about is one that's recognizing that unless a company is making a net positive impact in the world, it cannot survive or be competitive in the medium to long run. And it's also an ethos that says we're aligning with what society really needs, and having a well thought through and meaningful purpose creates enduring value for shareholders because you are better placed to deliver what they really desire. It also requires that advances in sustainability must be balanced with financial performance. So this is where it gets tricky because it's like having 2 benchmarks. If your traditional company is just being held accountable to a financial benchmark, then that's great in the sense that you just have one area to aim in. And what we're saying now is that sustainability or that type of agenda done well will drive financial performance, but we want to see non-financial indicators to show that's the case. So it is like in a way, it's a bit like having 2 benchmarks. And by the way, sustainability today is more than environmental. I think there was a time when it was very much about environmental initiatives, but it's social and environmental, and arguably economic as well. So I tend to use SEE, social, economic, and environmental, as the acronym when talking about that. So what all this means is that you still need a sharp commercial agenda. So idealists won't always like the approach. And if you also have a heavy sustainability agenda, like Unilever adopted, financial purists won't always like it either. So you're treading that middle ground. And it's like having to beat your competition in a race with sandbags strapped to your feet. The prize is that the systems and the work culture and the employer brand that you create, along with medium to long-term performance advantages, they cannot be easily replicated by companies who are standing idly by. They can certainly play catch up, but it takes such a long time to do these transformations. I mean, it took Unilever, I think it was 2010 they started in earnest, and arguably it took them 10 years to do what they're doing. And also note that in that time, I think it was 2019, it was 2017 or 2019, I can't remember, Kraft Heinz had a tilt at taking them over, which failed. But subsequently, Kraft Heinz had a reckoning where there was accounting irregularities. Its balance sheet collapsed. It had been very focused on short-term financial plays and leveraging up, extracting, I guess, cost savings where they could. And because of that, they didn't invest in R&D. They missed the trend to sustainability and to healthy foods and many other things that you think would be pretty important for a consumer company. So I think over that period, Unilever did really well, but more recently, in the last year or so, financial performance has been more under the spotlight, which perhaps is leading into where we're going here today. But before I get to what's happening now, a Harvard Law School paper said it really well in terms of this dynamic between profit and purpose when they published a 2x2 model, a very simple model that had on one axis profit being either high or low, and on the other axis, alignment with society, which we could call purpose, as being high or low as well. And to really excel and be competitive and outperform in the medium to long run, you want to be in the high profitability, high alignment with society box there, on that 2x2. And I would hold Unilever up historically in the last 12 or 13 years, an example of success in that regard. The French dairy giant Danone is an example of getting that alignment with society high, but falling down on the financial performance side, and that cost the CEO and the executive chair his job. A company like Exxon would be heading towards low and low potentially, and that was borne out with investor action that was sort of climate driven. But what they, when the activist engine, I think they're called Engine Number One, when that firm got 3 seats on the board, it was really about saying that Exxon lacked a climate transition plan. So that was exposing shareholders to too much risk, rather than saying, Exxon, you're bad, we don't like you. It was very much playing to the financial implications. So with all that preamble, what I picked up on this week was, this was covered in Green Buzz, which I suggest to you is a good source of information, and some other sources, which was covering Unilever CEO Hein Schumacher's financial update, and his calls to make sustainability goals more tangible. So there was an admission that many aspirational climate commitments they'd had might have failed or not borne fruit. It was hard to actually track them and link them to shareholder value. So they've got an increased focus on materiality, and they're under pressure to demonstrate how their sustainability focus does benefit shareholders going forward. They have boiled down their sustainability initiatives into 4 key pillars around climate, another one around nature and biodiversity, another one about plastic waste, and a 4th one around livelihood of customers, communities, and suppliers. Now, it's likely to complicate reporting and transparency to some sense, because there might be a mishmash of metrics that come up and might not be so easy to compare or aggregate for consumption by the users of that data, which are increasingly financial analyst interests. And the new roadmap they're coming up with shows how that their goals, aspirations, and metrics will need to be reprioritized. Feedback from the environmental side or sustainability side has been generally positive, some skeptics, but it's also fair to say that financial performance has been the point of pressure here, and they will be reworking their methodologies for tracking their goals and outcomes, and they will be renewing their climate transition action plan in the near future. So what does this all mean? Well, to get big shifts going, you do need the big, hairy, audacious goals approach. BHAG, B-H-A-G. And over time, some of those goals might be met or even exceeded. Some might fail or fall short, and some new ones will appear from insights gained along that purpose transformation journey. I doubt this news about Unilever has grabbed too many global headlines, but it's very important. The changes signaled by Schumacher are really a maturing of the purpose and sustainability field, more focus on material impacts that link sustainability to financial outcomes. This might not sound ideal to everyone, but when you're navigating those two benchmarks, or you've got the sandbags around your feet as well, I think it's going to be really important. And in my opinion, really important having these discussions. And the more of them we have, the better, because that will put a spotlight onto what all companies are doing in this regard. The issue of linking climate commitments to value appears as an issue in other industries as well. And I can think of insurance as one. So intuitively, a company might be doing certain initiatives in the climate space, but it's very hard for them to attribute value or causality. That is very, very challenging. So that's the guts of it. Some further reading, and again, I'll hold the book up. If you really want to know about purpose transformation, Net Positive is a great resource and really good read, really well written. You might also want to check out episode 11, which was, I think, called What is Purpose Transformation? That covers not just Unilever in brief, but it covers several other companies as well. And that's this week's update. You'll find my contact details in the show notes, along with some links. And thank you so much for tuning in to the Business Purpose Trends podcast. I'm Phil Preston. Have a great day, and may the business purpose trend be with you.